We sit down and collaborate and work together on a program that will allow my lawyers to have access to the members. What events are we going to be involved in? What education programs can we run for your members? How do we get your members in our doors so they feel really comfortable with the Holman Webb brand?
Welcome to Professionally Challenged, war stories from leaders driving change in law firms. Your hosts are Rob Patterson of Parkins Lane Consulting Group and Paul Evans of Toro Digital.
On today's episode of Professionally Challenged, we're chatting with Adriana Giametti, the Chief Marketing and Corporate Relations Officer of Holman Webb. Adriana has been with the firm for 5 years and comes from a very interesting background, including being a commissioning editor with the Thomson Reuters Group and a publisher with CCH Australia. She was also a tax lawyer with Hall & Wilcox, a tax consultant with EY, and prior to joining Holman Webb, Adriana was the Director of Marketing and BD at Kerwood's Lawyers and the Director of Marketing and HR at Wadden & Carney. So to kick off, Adriana, can you please tell us a bit about Holman Webb and your role at the firm?
Yeah, so Holman Webb, it's pretty much a mid-tier firm. We have offices in Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide and Brisbane. And I think it's just a little bit of a unique firm in the sense that around 60% of our partners have all been in-house. So you'll find that the way that we advise clients has a distinct commercial flavour. I've sat in meetings with our partners and heard them ask questions of clients that I've never heard lawyers ask before. And that's only come about because they've been in a corporate, they've been in-house and understood some of the real, difficulties and challenges you face when you've actually been in-house. And that gets passed down to all our junior lawyers. So they're getting trained in a very unique way. And my role here is to assist the partners in maintaining great relationships with their clients and also finding strategic ways to develop new business.
What do you see as the future of marketing and BD in the legal profession?
I think in the future we'll see a lot more BD people going out with lawyers.
So becoming client-facing?
A lot more client-facing. I think that's already starting, but really I think it's just going to end up becoming the way we do business.
Yep.
Do I think it'll essentially we will move to a space where we just have business developers going out and bringing in business? I'm not sure that's the future.
Yeah.
Really it's very technical, the information that we need to understand. And if you have a lawyer that's also a business developer at the same time, they've worked in the legal sector in that particular field, and then they become a business developer, maybe,
Yep.
You could probably go out and be solo client-facing. But to come in as a business development professional that's worked in other sectors, I think it's a bit challenging. It's very, very, you need to have a law degree to be discussing a lot of the information that you're going to be discussing with clients.
Yeah.
So there'll always be a requirement for your lawyer to be there with you.
So what value then can someone who doesn't have a law degree bring to the table, do you think?
Well, I think even just the fact that we're particularly trained in behaviour. We've definitely got a high IQ. As a result of that, we have the ability to, even the fact that we're going out with the solicitor gives them some level of comfort. They'll know that when they go into that meeting, we're going to ensure that the dynamic is there. We'll make sure the energy's right. We just lift the conversation. And we also have got the ability to discuss other aspects of the business. So often
opportunities.
because often solicitors will go in and discuss their particular practice area, and the client will be discussing challenges and issues that they're facing, and they'll forget to say, "Oh, that's great. Well, we actually have a workplace relations team as well that can." So the cross sell doesn't happen as often when a solicitor is going in on their own. You'll find that cross sell will take place when they've got a BD person with them.
Yep.
So the BD person almost helps triage the client's needs.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Okay. And I think also the BD person's better at promoting the firm and promoting the lawyer themselves. I mean, it's very uncomfortable as a solicitor to sit there discussing how great you are. Yeah. It's a lot easier when you have your business developer there next to you doing it for you, right?
Yeah. And as a BD person, would you be doing some of the research and some of the preparation work?
Yeah, absolutely.
To sort of prep the lawyer?
Yeah. Yeah, let them work on the billables and, we'll worry about that side of business, and then you brief them on everything and go out and see the client, potential client.
Okay. And do you have like an after-action review? Would you then sit down when you get back to the office and sort of debrief with the lawyer?
Correct. That's absolutely what you would do, and then work out strategically what you'll be doing next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's a good approach. It's a really important approach though, isn't it? Because as you point out, and lawyers are remunerated around their specialty or their area of law. So that strategic approach, someone having an overarching view, okay, where to from here, and it might be in that discrete area of law, but it may well also bringing other people in to collaborate around it.
And that's exactly what we found. I mean, I've been to meetings and come back, and the lawyer I went with didn't receive any work, but another group did. Yeah, and, it's all, we all work for the same firm, and there's no real silos here either. So we, everyone's helping each other build their business.
Yeah, and you have a law degree. Mm-hmm. So do you think, in the spirit of candour, do you think that is an advantage when you are going out with lawyers to see clients or in-house counsel? Or
yeah, I think it helps. I think it does lend itself to lawyers feeling a lot more comfortable with you going out with them.
Yeah.
And, the other thing is I wouldn't, everything that I ask the lawyers to do here, I've done myself. I was a big business developer when I was a tax lawyer and liked it so much that I became a business development specialist. But, I would never ask them to do something I haven't done already.
Yeah. How would you compare, say, the approach at Ernst & Young, a chartered accounting firm, with, say, Holman Webb or Hall & Wilcox or another law firm? Is there a fundamental difference in approach in terms of business development?
Yeah, I think the accounting firms are definitely more progressive, especially the big ones. Probably the leaders, you would say, in business development. We're following suit. The legal profession is probably catching up quicker than it has in the past. Mm-hmm. But it's about changing mindsets, and it's about, leadership from the top. If you have someone leading from the top that's promoting a strong business development culture amongst the firm, you'll find that business developers are given the opportunity to show how they can really add value to the business. I think that's what I found working at Holman Webb, was that from the beginning there was a belief that business development's really important, and, we trust you, and we're going to follow your suit. So help us out. Yeah. And it's worked pretty well for us. I've been here a really long time. The turnover is normally 18 months, I think, in my role, but not my particular role, in my profession. And, we've been here for a long time, and I think it's a testament to the firm and its culture, and it's, the partners here give the executive team the ability to make decisions and to assist them moving into the future.
It's a really interesting insight that, Paul and I were talking about this a bit earlier on. Very often firms will come at growth from two different angles. There's a few firms in this category that their main focus is clearly inorganic. It's more about mergers and lateral hires, whereas other firms, it sounds like your own, have got more of an organic approach and that business development approach, which does require a very different mindset, and it certainly does require a lot of support from the managing partner or the CEO down.
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of disruption at the moment. And to be fair, I think you need to really focus on getting your rainmaker versus grinder type of scenario right, because if you don't have enough rainmakers and you're not big enough, you're probably going to have to merge. Yeah. If you've got that ratio right, you're probably going to do okay. But there is such a desire and a need at the moment to have more rainmakers. What I love is watching the junior solicitors and how different they are to sort of that older generation of solicitors because they're really open to business development. They're really keen. They understand that marketing BD don't just make documents look pretty.
Yeah.
You know, there's a real understanding there that we're here to help drive your business. We're here to help you create develop your own practice.
Brilliant. Okay. Do you think that in part might be through your recruitment as well? Is it something you would focus on as part of your recruitment?
Yeah, I think partly focusing on the recruitment is really important. Some people just will never be a business development focused lawyer. They're technically maybe brilliant and that's their strength. But I think you need a balance of the two, and I think you need a balance not only in partners, but you need a balance in the junior lawyers as well.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool. So it sounds like you also have a really important role in mentoring and coaching the lawyers in terms of business development and marketing. Is that a fair call?
Yeah, absolutely. That's my favourite part.
How do you, without giving away any trade secrets, what sort of things would you do with the lawyers? Is it sort of separate breakout sessions, or is it more learning on the job? How do you?
I think learning on the job is the best way to do it. You know, taking them to events with us.
Yeah.
You know, my CFO Magda and I, we often go networking events for the firm, and we've built quite a profile outside the firm as well. So that's been really beneficial for us in terms of being in a position where we're invited to good networking events and we can bring along our junior staff. And we'll often use that as an opportunity to sort of throw them into the fire. But, you know, they learn pretty quickly.
So you mentioned on the Lawyers Weekly podcast last year that if you don't have an entrepreneurial spirit, you probably need to find another job because you need to think like an entrepreneur to be a lawyer these days.
Yeah.
Pretty bold statement.
It is bold.
Yeah, I agree.
You agree? Good.
Yeah.
Look, I think there is room for, like I said, some grinders, but the majority will have to be rainmakers.
Yeah. But how do you see like the marketing and BD team, or even the whole shared services team, helping them become more entrepreneurial?
Well, first of all, I think universities need to lift their game.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time when I was commissioning at Thomson Reuters and as a publisher at CCH dealing with all the law faculties. And I didn't see a heck of a lot of interest in teaching lawyers all the soft skills that they required. Things may have changed now, but certainly that wasn't happening before. And I would often have solicitors say to me, I didn't become a lawyer to be a salesperson.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Haven't we all?
So all that needs to be factored into, I think they should have a special subject called professional services marketing that's compulsory when you're when you're studying either accounting or engineering.
Yeah, great.
Or law.
I guess there's so many people that are coming through law school now that don't become lawyers.
Yeah, exactly.
Which seems to be a growing trend. But, you know,
they can't get jobs as lawyers, that's why. So the reason I really am promoting an entrepreneurial spirit for solicitors is because it gives them freedom as well. If you're unhappy in a law firm, you don't really have much scope to move to another one if you don't have a portable practice or if you don't have a profitable practice you can take along with you, or some really good clients you can take with you. So my recommendation would be to allow yourself to have that ability to move quite easily, build yourself a strong practice. And that will require you to have an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, certainly mobility. If you're wanting to be mobile, you certainly need to have a decent practice.
And, you know, when we are reviewing partners to join us from other firms, I'll do a due diligence on their practice along with the CEO here, and we get together and the client side of their business will be assessed.
Yeah.
So
if there's obvious sort of
gaps,
cross-selling opportunities and
So changing tack a bit, I'd love to get your thoughts on something. It's pretty obvious from your website that you've spent a lot of time and it's an important part of your marketing strategy, and that's that you've built partnerships with other organisations. The two that caught my eye were Holman Webb's sponsorship agreements with the Association of Corporate Counsel and the Entrepreneurs Organisation. Could you tell us a bit more about these?
The Association of Corporate Counsel, for us, that's our target market really, in-house counsel and general counsel. So, working with the team at the ACC has been really beneficial for us. They have a really good understanding of what's required to not only just be a partner, but to really grow our reach into their membership base. So we've worked really closely with them on developing a program to get us more profile and more increase our brand awareness amongst the general counsel.
Yep.
And then the Entrepreneurs Organisation, again, it's a similar thing. That came along because one of our partners was in a tech group with someone that was in the EO.
Yep.
And they're really exciting. There's it's a global network. There's, we pretty much look after the Sydney chapter mostly. And they're just a very dynamic group of people.
Yep.
We have probably partnered with them the most in terms of really forming a strong bond where there's an intense program happening. They have become almost a part of we've become a part of their world, they've become part of ours. They're quite clever in the sense that they understand how to track very carefully the return on our investment, which is obviously so important for me. And also they're really good at inviting us to lots of types of events where we can have direct access to the members and build relationships with the members rather than just the people that work for the organisation. And on top of that, they've also helped us form relationships with other strategic alliance partners.
Yeah, okay. So such as?
We have Commonwealth Bank on there, accounting firms, there's travel partners, there's telecommunications companies on there.
Okay,
so
the whole lot.
And even, automotive companies, so
Right. Yeah.
so it's been an interesting ride with the EO.
One of the things that often strikes me with law firms and sponsorships is that there's often a very simplistic approach of writing out the check, getting your logo on a brochure, and then expecting a miracle to happen. I think it seems like you've got a much more sophisticated approach to sponsorships. How do you is it a campaign, or how do you create, or how do you make sure that you do get that return on investment?
So initially, before the contract is signed and the money's handed over, we sit down and collaborate and work together on a program that will allow my lawyers to have access to the members. What events are we going to be involved in? What education programs can we run for your members? How do we get your members in our doors so they feel really comfortable with the Holman Webb brand? It's somewhere where they know where we are, they know that they have different touch points within the organisation to make them really sticky.
So you negotiate the sponsorship package, you don't just sort of take it as given, you'll talk with them about it and sort of work it up with them?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's probably part of me having a legal background and having been a lawyer. I really do. I sit down and I negotiate fairly heavily with them and come up with a program that just works for both of us because, I want my alliance partners to be really comfortable that they're receiving great value from us. Otherwise, they can move on and go to another law firm as well. So there's a lot that we give generously as a law firm, and my partners here are, sometimes a little too generous with their time, but it works. It swings and roundabouts. We tend to have extremely loyal clientele, and we're really happy about that.
Yeah, that's a really great strategy. All right, Rob, over to you with the lightning round.
What's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Well, I do recall working with someone who used to always say, we're not saving lives, we're not saving lives. And I'll tell you what, that has worked that piece of advice has taken me far in and probably helped with my blood pressure on many occasions. So I always pass that on to my staff.
If someone knew you really well, what is the one thing they would know about you that others would not?
Oh, that's a tough one. I quite like McDonald's. I shouldn't be admitting that. But also, I'm probably something a little different. I'm really quite into my quantum physics.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, can't get enough of it.
All right. Can you nominate another legal industry leader that you hold in great respect that you think we should have on this podcast?
Yeah, I think Anna Lazinski. She's the Executive General Counsel at L'Oreal, and Anna's just a real firecracker. She's really pushing change and innovation in the legal industry, and she's written a fantastic book. She's certainly someone who I think would have lots of great pearls to tell everyone in your podcast.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
great.
Cool. If you could lead the marketing role for any company in the world other than Holman Webb, which would that be?
That would be the LMVH group, so I could get lots of free handbags.
That's the Louis Vuitton.
Lots of shoes, handbags. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And finally, if listeners want to connect with you, what's the best way to get in touch?
LinkedIn, definitely.
Well, thank you, Adriana. Some sensational advice there.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to Professionally Challenged. Visit our website at www.professionallychallenged.com and please leave us a review on iTunes. Until next time, bye for now.